In 1899, at an embarrassing moment in the Boer War, the Royal Navy took to its feet. They came ashore near Durban, South Africa, and proceeded to drag some heavy field guns across the kind of terrain that would have crippled a bulldozer. In due course, they played a major role in the relief of the siege of Ladysmith. To the eternal chagrin of the British Army, the Royal Navy has never allowed them to forget it. "7,000 miles north of Ladysmith, 80 years and a lost empire later, that engagement is still uniquely commemorated. A brief war game is now a sport. For generations, the Royal Navy's field gun competition has been a paramount spectacle at the annual Royal Tournament at Earls Court, London. It's between three fiercely competitive teams: Portsmouth, Devonport and Fleet Air Arm. Ironically, its brilliance is almost self-defeating. These men are so good, they make it look easy. Whale Island, Portsmouth, more formally known as HMS Excellent, is where the Royal Navy used to instill the fear of God and gunnery instructors into sailors. These days, it's appreciably more relaxed, unless, that is, you're a field gun competitor. Field gunners don't walk, they run everywhere. Field gunners don't skive. If they skive, they're no longer field gunners. Field gunners have to submit themselves to a discipline and physical regimen that would break most men and kill some. Field gunners are all volunteers. The preliminary selection tests are not even O-level standard. At Portsmouth, who we follow in the film, they're invigilated by the first-team trainer, Derek Cousins. Yesterday, this man, like all the others, fancied himself in the role of a field gun gladiator. Should he fail, there's no ignominy. Most do.
Just the warm-up session.
That was Peter Scott, Portsmouth's second-team trainer, who makes Dracula look like the Secretary General of the Red Cross.
Anyone that doesn't want to know at this stage now is really a waste of time.
Yourself, I would like to see you again. You're on the borderline. Remember what I said before you came in here? Basic strength. You did well, you got through it, you didn't walk away, you didn't jack it in.
Ajax, Antrim, Apollo, Arethusa. The names catalogue naval history. Ships and shore establishments wherever the white ensign still flies. But no distance is too great to bring home a field gun candidate.
If you get caught walking, hands in pockets, anything, especially walking, you end up 20 press-ups, like, you know. That's the main thing. I think it's just to keep you in trim, keep you fit. You also get your white rats. Anybody sees you walking, they tell the trainers, that's it, down you go. Press-ups, star jumps. So just to keep you in trim.
What magistrate would sentence you to run around with 90 pounds of stuffed blue elephant on your back? Sentences are summary, punishments frequently bizarre. Occasionally, they're cruel.
Right, remember, we've all got different standards of punishment. Now, these four people here is a minor punishment. 3 of them basically for missing or being late for the 1 o'clock muster, and the other one for not getting his sideboards sorted out when he was first told. All right, remember, discipline, cleanliness, haircuts kept to a minimum. All right? It's a minor punishment. Sandbag from the shore, across the mud, to that first post and back. Come on, Gilly, keep those legs going! Come on, Gilly, get up! Keep it going, Gilly! Right on, big fans! Keep it going, Vic. Show him the way home. Don't get that sandbag dirty! Keep working those legs. You got the circuit to finish with? Come on, Gilly, you got 2 minutes to get up there. Come on, Gilly. Come on, Gilly. Remember, next time, do things when they're told you straight off. Come on, work through, up to the top. Good lad, well done, get it back over and straight it up, come on.
For this, each year, there are 500 volunteers. No one is press-ganged into the field gun. They're free at this moment to walk off Whale Island and resume their lives as normal members of the human race.
I was on a ship about 3 weeks ago, and just before I left it, it was all field gunner this, field gunner, all brawn and no brains. But, I mean, none of them would ever come up and do what we do. You know, we're not the elite, far from it, but I like to think that we're doing something that not many people can do. And it's worth it all in the end, I hope.
Go!
Well, they're dealing with heavy weights. You're talking about 800-weight barrels, 400-weight carriages. And if they're not aggressive, if they don't pick something up as if they intend to pick it up and do something with it, then they're going to end up getting hurt. So they've got to be aggressive. Their nature's got to be aggressive.
His legs going, they feel like jelly now, right? Keep them going.
Drive it, come on. Come on, drive it. Last one, last one.
It takes 1 year to prepare a field gunner for a public appearance at Earls Court. 5 months getting fit, 7 months mastering technique and learning to withstand unreasonable physical pain. Since Ladysmith, field gunners have had a motto. Inevitably, the limit varies, and for some, the beyond is unattainable.
Right. Do you realise what I got you in here for? Right. You found it hard. You've done everything that you've been told. All right. I'll give you a due. You worked hard there. All right. But I must say, at this stage, you've got so much to do, I'm afraid we can't take it. All right. I know how you feel about this. All right. You've done bloody hard. Okay? Tomorrow morning, all right, return your boots to the PTI, come in and see me, and what I will do, I will ring Centurion. You haven't failed. Put it this way, you haven't failed. I can't use you this year. We can use you 79, all right, 80. You've got enough willpower, you can make the grade.
Because although you're not actually good enough for us at the moment, physically, you'll get down there, the state you're in, your keenness, great. All right, your attitude, great. But physically, you'd go down there, if you didn't kill yourself or take a leg off, you'd kill someone else. That's why we're saying no to you. All right?
Off you go.
Do something about it, all right? And I'll come and have a look at you next year.
I wish some other of those out there, the ones that we've got, could just be sat as we are now. They think they've got it made at the moment. Yeah. They haven't.
Boys.
Why no one's got it made is that even a place in the finally selected 40 doesn't guarantee an appearance at Earls Court. There's an A crew, and a B crew, which is a box of human spares.
Good ones, Paul, good ones. If I was in B crew, my opposite number, obviously an A crew, got hurt, I'd be over the moon. Because I would then be an A crew, you know. Yeah, all right, I mean, I feel sorry for him, but...
I can work behind you. Come on, right in, right in. Good, go, come on. All arms, come on, get them going now.
Lieutenant Peter Forster is nominally in charge, but for once, even the Royal Navy's established chain of command is in abeyance. These men, the field gun trainers, decide who runs. It is unapologetically a man's world. So how do the wives react?
Not very well. On the whole, you would say that 90% detest field gun. Some of them don't even like to watch it.
Do they come and complain to you and say, what are you doing to my
Yes,
husband?
especially, they mainly complain to the PDI. This is why our safest place is behind the bar, serving.
And what are they really complaining about?
They say, yeah, lack of it, yeah. What have you done to my husband? Why does he come home in the evening at 7 o'clock, have his supper and fall asleep?
And his empty plate.
Then it goes the opposite way. Once they become track fit, they become beasts, you know, and it works the other way around.
So, the moment for selection. The first lunar astronauts could hardly have been more apprehensive.
Some of you are just realising what it's all about. Right. Next week, or by the end of next week, you will know what it is really about. Starting off, A crew. First swing, Silcock. Second swing, Morby. Number 3, Tutty. Number 4, Piercy. Number 5, Doig. 15, Frost. 16, Vance. 17, is it Curly? 18, Roland. Right, A crew over there, B crew, remainder sit over there. Number 2.
For the B crew, emotions are confused. It's like making heaven and being detailed to work in the galley. Old hands who've run before, though to run in successive years is not permitted, are mostly through. And then there's the desolation of those who've made neither team.
I just feel like I've been kicked in the head. Yeah. I'm just down, you know. I feel like dying. You know, my world has just been shattered in the last 5 minutes. That's it, that's all I can say. I just...
Sit down and see.
These days, the strategic significance of a 19th century field gun is perhaps even less than that of a catapult. But the sequence of taking it apart, throwing it about as though it were balsa wood, and then reassembling and firing it, adds up not only to an exact science, but the toughest sport I've ever seen. It's tougher than American gridiron football. It's tougher than world heavyweight prize fighting. And there's no doubt that the average soccer player would demand a transfer before lunch on the first day. April the 7th, the first day on the training track. From now on, it's about perpetual dirt and injuries. It's not about money, or publicity, or popular stardom. It is very Royal Navy.
7 meters. Good morning and welcome. And many congratulations on being selected for the 1978 Portsmouth Field Gun crew. I know the selection this year has been particularly intense, and I'm very glad that we've been able to get practically everybody we wanted from the fleet in a difficult year for manpower. Now, I thought I'd just give you the benefit of my ideas about what field gunning is about. First of all, you are representing the Royal Navy. That is to say that you are sailors, first, foremost, and throughout. You are not actors, you are not football stars, you are not prima donnas, you are men of the Royal Navy. I hope your families and my family will be there on Ceremonial Divisions Day to see you do your first public run, which is fantastic. Very good luck to you this season. Let us have a happy and successful year. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
In the tentative early days, it's the hands that need protection. The wheels weigh 120 pounds each, the carriage 350 pounds. The barrel weighs 800 weight, the same as a family car.
Right, now listen, all right? George is taking charge, now listen, shitting it.
2 good ones, ready? 2-6, hooray! 2-6.
Supreme physical fitness is now taken for granted. The next stage is the construction, section by section, of a ballet of extreme violence. In the end, it will produce a perfection which will be understood on the night by practically no one.
Can't be expecting a good run. Take it round again.
Right, lower. That is how heavy it is. Now, when it starts coming from there, the wheels are going to come off. So you're going to be 240 pounds lighter.
Okay, one more gun then. Yeah.
Forward, good trap. Okay, no problem. Go up the wall. Now get aggressive. And I want it up and over. That. Yeah.
You get that iron. That
boy. Lift! Drive! Drive it up, drive it up. Drive it up. Take your time. Get up! Get it! Keep it going. Throw it up. Good, Rolly.
20 pressos, Gilly.
You smile and I'll make you cry.
Don't worry about it. Stress.
Right. Get hold of it.
He's like a store horse getting on the back of it.
Never done it before. They want some ice on that, man. Oi. Better, please! Never said go yet! Shake! Press wheels! Go! Check it! Goodbye, Alan! Goodbye! Murray, remember, those checks must be in. You just got a nick there.
Why them checks, will ya? Come over my head, you know. Don't mind me.
You're a pin.
It's all the time. Of the paddocks, I think.
There's an esoteric attitude to injury. Doctors are called for only in cases of extreme death. Otherwise, there's the trackside medic, a former house plasterer with an omnipresent disregard for government health warnings.
Well done. Push through.
There's also some lurid terminology. The man who rides the 28-foot chasm on the back of the gun carriage is known as Suicide Trail.
You just bend it slightly on the 10 foot. All right? Don't. Right, you're on okay that time?
We're on already, yeah?
Right, get on, get into position, ready. Don't worry running along going, If I tell your wheel's likely to come off, I'll tell you. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Right, so you take your pin out, get your pin.
Paul, you got any track up?
Go over there.
Ready?
2, 3, 4, 5. Somewhere! Go! Go! Go!
The lot of a suicide trail is not an easy one. After every run, the sublime madness of it all leaves the tin shed at the end of the track looking like the Crimea.
I don't know about the gun, the ring bounced up.
Oh, it's just 2 years, right.
Just want to bite on Pat. Oh, good woman. Good woman. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have known.
Yet Pat Brophy, despite the hole in his leg, will be running again inside half an hour. Exactly 22 minutes after sustaining the hole in his leg, Brophy gets a finger crushed. Histrionics are not tolerated.
Down you go, Brophy! Skylarking! Okay, clean drill, done.
Just doing it.
Real duck.
Biggie.
But again and again, it's the hands that are vulnerable. Field gunning's no place for pianists or portrait painters.
A lot of guys lose fingers on the track. And we had one fella, J.J. Evans, in '74. We did a rig, practiced putting a rig up, and it was messed up. So first trainer said, right, lay the rig back down, lads. So we all got underneath the rig and laid it down, and we were moving the rig down. And as we lowered it, he trapped his finger between the shear leg and the top of his boot, like that. Because as it squashed it, he pulled it out. And as he pulled it out, he ripped his finger off. He didn't realise what he'd done at first. And he looked at it and then he realised. And he started jumping about and shaking. And the doc took him away. And I was stood right next to him. And I picked his finger up out of the dirt. I looked at him. Got my handkerchief out of my pocket and wrapped it up. And stuffed it in my pocket to take it home to show the wife, you know, in the evening. Because the doc came out onto the track and shouting about where's his finger? Because we want to stitch it back on. You see, so I wandered off somewhere, you know, out of the way. And no one had seen me pick this finger up except the second trainer from the opposite track. And he let it go so far, and then he came over to me and said, look, give him his finger back. So I took my handkerchief out, took the finger out and gave it back to him. And they brought it in here to try and stitch it on. And as it happened, they couldn't stitch it on anyway.
From time to time, an immaculate paternal figure drops by. The president of the field gun battery.
Of course, you are training up men here to such an enormous degree of physical fitness that, I mean, they are potential killers. I mean, apart from their military role. Have you ever had a problem with a field gunner after the field gun at Earls Court?
Absolutely not, and I think quite the reverse, in fact. It is, I suppose, sentimental of me to say that they are extremely kind men, but it is, I remember when I was field gun officer, goodness knows I mustn't tell too many stories, but we were in a public house just ashore here, celebrating some particular bit of run, and I popped out for a moment. When I came back into the bar, I looked at these men, and as you said, they looked great big killers. And I thought, if I hadn't known them, I wouldn't go in there and have a quiet drink by myself. But of course, I knew them, that in fact they were the kindest and most helpful and most disciplined men that you could possibly hope for.
Just don't drink all the bloody soup.
Right. So 5 minutes, sort someone out, 5 minutes time.
Well, Gilly, I think you were brilliant, Gilly. Yeah.
For field gunners, as I said, the discipline is decentralised and the punishment is ridicule. Each Friday, they stage their wooden Oscar Awards for those who failed or fumbled.
Another vote was to Gillen.
Reason he was put forward,
because he was crying all the time, crying all this morning, trapping his fingers and his legs, not doing what he was told, but he's all right, as you can see. Third one is George Mew, who keeps trapping his fingers, breaking them, losing bits.
Getting pins.
Getting pins, everything else. So those three. Votes for Lofty Kerr.
1, 2, 3. No, only B crew.
B crew.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gillen. 13. Mew. Gillen, come forward, receive your award for number 2.
Last time I want you to get this, all right? All right. Okay. Don't take it off when you're at the social Saturday night.
Who put the name forward?
I'll tell you later.
Go! Now move it hard! Lift! Out!
Lift! Lift! Field gunning is in the blood. These young men won't make Earls Court yet, but the obsession is handed down. Wives and mothers appear to have no say in the matter. We asked the wife of Portsmouth's second-team trainer which would win, field gun or marriage.
Field gun. No question about it. Well, maybe I'm just talking from Peter's attitude towards field gun. If they're all like him, I should think field gun would win overall. It sounds terrible to say that someone could give up their marriage, but it would be a very slow process of this marriage breaking up if it did. This is why the wives have to be terribly understanding, and some of them just can't grasp it, really. I can understand why.
She's had the alternatives. There's her mother in Scotland.
George, look up!
For smoking on the track, George Knox is sentenced to 20 press-outs. Before field gunning, he supplemented his Navy pay by moonlighting as a nightclub bouncer. But even nightclub bouncers don't get hit like this.
Breathe in, George, something.
See you. First time. Sorry, most of it's wind, George.
You got wind, that's what you got wind.
Yeah. Come on, lads, set the brig out.
I'll try and sit up.
Necklace in. Up to that point, it was good. Okay. I want everybody working.
Up to that point, it was good. Field gunners survive on black, unconscious humour. The collapsing sheer leg that struck Knox like a swinging telegraph pole weighed 170 pounds. They dose him with painkillers and the run goes on.
You okay?
Yeah.
You win, wasn't it?
Not the stuff not to me, that bastard.
Yeah, you would. Just get your pair of hands.
At least George Knox's appetite remains unimpaired. Field gunners, particularly at feeding times, live segregated lives. For 40 men, there are 4 chefs and sufficient calories to have sunk the Bismarck. And so, as February turns into May and May blossoms into summer, the running times are pared down by remorseless practice from over 4 minutes to under 3. On a Saturday in June, it's Old Boys' Day. Ex-field gunners and old flames arrive in force. However, any resemblance to similar nostalgic gatherings at Eton is somewhat tenuous.
Oh, Daphne!
Daphne's autograph.
Go, Daphne!
Back on the reality of the track, the euphoria has gone. It's 3 weeks to Earls Court, and they're suffering from a condition all sports coaches dread. Exhaustion, descent, running times that are actually getting worse. The two trainers are close friends, but in their methods they're as far apart as Freud and Brian Clough. Derek Cousins.
Was it? Gone through that time, what happened?
Gone through? Well, can I just query something before we start arguing? When you put that new gun to carriage on, all right, did you break it in and stretch it?
But it fitted all right.
Well, I know it fits all right, but did you break it in? And what I mean by breaking in is the tape that's around the side, all right, smashing it with a breech lever, all right, and stretching it with a McMuzz. Right, well, that's where it all went wrong, because you never broke it in, all right? When you break a gun up rope in, you've got to mould it onto that hook, all right, and you've got to force it, all right, into those little T-joints that are on that bar that the carriage slings go on. All right, remember the last one? We got to break it in, all right? I'll take the blame for that, but captain of the gun, all right, it's his responsibility, all right? It's your gear, Paddy, and it should have been broken in. That's what that part of. Remember the last time we tried to do it here and we had to put
On the far track, where Peter Scott's weapons are the bunched fist and the keel-hauling tongue, the B crew are also floundering in the doldrums.
I can't wait any longer, Kellogg's, other than going back to the second week on the track of waiting to you, for you to put your hand up. Hey. What? Explain to me why it come out then. It seemed to come out. There's no explanation at all, is it? No good to me. Box jammed on the run home, why? Don't hold it too high again. Otherwise I'll hammer you down to a bit shorter status than you are now, all right? We'll go with the gear laid in, until you can put something decent together.
One person ruin it every time.
Our first trainer at the moment is a fantastic fella. He's all heart, but he hasn't got the sort of aggression that you would expect from a bloke who gets a right sad on, all right? He has a tendency to not flash up, as I call it, because we start doing a wash-up, all right, and he'll talk to a person in a sort of soothing action. So a bloke can come away from a wash-up just laughing his bleeding head off because he's done something wrong. I think that's completely and utterly wrong. If you do something wrong, even at the actions, I've seen trainers that come along and they'll bash you right around the bleeding head for doing it wrong. And that's the way that you keep them bloody thinking, you put them under stress. Because if they can't run under stress, then it's a waste of time on running. You see, because you're lifting, what, 3/4 of a sodding ton. You can't piss about with 3/4 of a sodding ton.
They doubt each other's capabilities, really. They blame the gear, they blame their opposite numbers. Any excuse, really, and basically it's their fault.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
A bugle sounds the final call to regroup, fight and get it right. On the eve of their departure for London, this was the result. That analysis of the near-perfect field gun run is what you can't hope to see in the blur of intense competition at Earls Court. After their near despair of a fortnight earlier, it put Portsmouth in excellent spirits for their advance on the Royal Tournament. In fact, it left them with only one minor problem. A field gun officer whose immense skills as a sailor were not quite matched by his performance on a parade ground.
Boss, we can't hear your orders. None of the boys can hear it, I can't hear it, and I'm just the other side of the crew. We're going to have to sort it out. I will pick it up after your Portsmouth.
Okay, yeah.
So you, after Portsmouth, are just talking to yourself.
Okay.
So you just carry on talking to yourself and do your saluting. Don't forget to salute as well.
Good thinking.
On the eyes right.
Yeah.
I will take it up from there and tell the crew. So I'll just walk alongside you this time, and as you march, give the orders as you would. I will shout over the top of you as I will be off to your right. So I'll stay in behind you.
John, yeah, the pace is behind me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Right, we'll give that a try.
Right.
I'll step off smartly.
Right, stop there then. We'll just walk around there.
Okay.
Right. I'll give a quick march.
Yeah.
Quick.
Ow! Portsmouth! Field gun! Ice! Right! Ice! Run!
Each team runs 16 times. Each run is in 3 sections, a run out and back over a chasm into which neither man nor equipment must fall, and a run home to bring the gun round to its original position. Portsmouth's first run is against Fleet Air Arm. For the usually undemonstrative trainer, it's a smiling start. Portsmouth get 2 points for a win. Portsmouth sustain their early form. But between races, they live up in the eaves of Earls Court like a colony of bats. Distractions, even new aspirations, are essential.
Gentlemen, the battery check this evening is Miss World. I would like you to give 3 cheers to the most beautiful woman in the world. Hip hip!
As Miss World returns to another planet, Portsmouth may console themselves that they're right on course for glory. They've dropped Fleet Air Arm and are holding Devonport, the title holders. These, of course, are frequently the reflections of men on the threshold of a fall. In rehearsal, they did it perfectly, no fewer than 600 times. They did it so often, they could hurl up the 400-weight pyramid of spar and sheer legs in their sleep. Now, at a critical moment against Devonport, one small mistake in timing, and the whole edifice collapses. But as Portsmouth still fumble against the disgrace of disqualification, Devonport find themselves without a race. The sequel sounds more like a court-martial than an inquest.
Present moment is an absolute bloody disaster. I'm ashamed. It is disgusting. So I shall see the producer. It won't happen tomorrow morning, but from there on, we will start at 5:30 in the morning, and we will do some more practice. Right? Right, carry on, please. Yes, please. Right, is the message clear, gentlemen? That was disastrous. Awful. That's 2 runs on the trot, and there is no excuse at all for that sort of field gunning. It's bloody awful. I have never seen field gunning to come against that in my 2 years of battery command. Disgusting. There's no excuse for it at all. It was a disaster this afternoon, it was a disaster this evening. So, I shall get an early morning practice period, and we'll get in there and we'll get it right. Right, message passed. Okay?
And how do you feel about having to train at 5:30 in the morning?
Make us worse.
How do you mean no?
Make us worse. We have a long enough day anyway. Because look, it's now 9:30, and I've got to have a bath and shower yet. Some of the lads are gone. We started turning us into robots already. And the environment we're in now is bad enough.
When you say no, are you saying you won't train at 5:30 in the morning?
If I'm told to train at 5:30 in the morning, we'll be there at 5:30 in the morning. But the 3 first trainers, if we get together, we will say no, and I think the BC will, will listen to us, and because if we start training that early in the morning, there's going to be accidents, and you won't have anything at all, except my B crew, which is the best B crew up here.
How do you feel now, at this stage, for the overall result?
I would say disappointed, but looking forward to the future.
Yeah. Do you reckon you're going to win?
It's going to be hard, but with the way they're working now, it'll be all right.
In a brief and scarcely impressive career as a Royal Navy national serviceman, I at least had time to learn that what happens here at Earls Court is of monumental importance throughout the British fleets. For Celtic v Rangers, or England against Australia, read Devonport versus Portsmouth. The Navy's game is as traditional as that. It's also as unpredictable. This run of Portsmouth borders on perfection.
Oh, that's the way it's got to be. Tremendous.
I thought we were going to break the record and everything tonight, but we took the 2 points out, and that's the main thing. But you can feel it when we walked in that blue light. You can't explain it. You got to be in amongst the 18.
Yeah, but when you say you can't explain it,
you can't
try to explain it.
When the lads,
when you walked in there, try to explain what you felt like.
When the blue light comes on, and you march in, you take that first step forward, and every movement, every foot, every movement, every hair, and everybody has got the same movement. Every breath, everybody knows exactly what everybody else is going to do. That is when you've really clicked and the boys have really put it together. And when you're marching up that straight, you don't give a damn about the crowd or the other crew on the other side. You know you're going to beat them because the arms are swinging in time, the feet are hitting the deck at the same time, your head's up, and you know there's a big lump in the middle of your throat saying the 18 of yous are one. That's what we all felt tonight. I could feel it.
What's that? What's that? Is that Hamilton?
Is that the boys? Is that the cats?
What is it?
All right. Oh, I missed it. No problem, is it? No problem. 2 runs left, no problem now. Cracked it. Back to low. That's splintered them now. They're going to have to go flat out now against us. Splintered them. It's been bloody hard this year. Too hard.
Oh, good evening, sir. This is the field gun battery officer at Earls Court. I have the signal. First paragraph, Alpha, 22 July.
First by telephone from Earls Court, then by teleprinter from the Admiralty, the results are instantly propagated to Navy men across the world. Tonight's headlines, Pompey. For some, the victory celebrations for Portsmouth have begun long before the final race. But for others, there is the tension of reality. With the final run to come, Portsmouth lead by 2 points. But, should they lose, Devonport, as defending champions, retain the trophy.
I don't think any penalties. Just said 5 months for 1 run. Yeah.
And once that blue light comes on, that's it.
And so a full year of trials, selection, hardening, instruction, and merciless rehearsal is balanced on this final run. Portsmouth start well, but you'll recall the dreaded chasm into which neither man nor metal must fall. Watch carefully. In the split second it takes to fall off a rope, 2 Portsmouth men plunge into the chasm. For Chief Petty Officer Derek Cousins, a year's work ends with a long walk of defeat. It's the same walk that men have known at Wembley and Lord's and in the huge Olympic stadiums. The walk that is as great a test of character as running field guns.
Listen, Doc, we're going to race it.
Anything happened to the others?
All sorts of things. All we had to do was a normal drill with a crucified them.
You were good with a 27 pony?
Oh, yeah. 53.
How the hell did he go in? How can he go in from that sort of position? You just can't, number one. You should have got rid of that at the beginning of the season. Comes here, me up. Kill that bastard.
Hey, settle down.
3 months and he can't do it.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Derek Cousins is now with the NATO fleet. Peter Scott and his field gunners will appear nightly at Earls Court from next Saturday, when they finished reenacting great naval engagements on the Serpentine. This was a tribute, not an advertisement.